of Australia's big cat.
The big cats are a moment in time.
Peter from Albany has listened to all those accounts of big cats roaming the Australian bushland and wants to know if there's any evidence at all to support this fierce feline legend. Well, Peter, to begin with, there are certainly enough sightings to inspire one's imagination.
There's been over 2,000 documented reports of large, big cats roaming the Australian bush. They come in clumps, like, for example, in the 1970s, there were a lot of reports in Victoria. In the 1980s, there were a lot of reports in Western Australia. But over the last 100 years or so, fairly constant.
Tim the Yowie Man, a self-described crypto-naturalist, has passionately searched for evidence of big cats for 14 years.
Interesting thing is, of all these big cat reports, they're not all the same. Although there's a trend for them to be black, sometimes someone might see a black cat in an area, and the same week someone might report a sandy cat. So the colour of these animals is not consistent.
OK, not the most persuasive start, but what about the evidence? Well, Peter Mawson, the principal zoologist at the Department of Environment and Conservation in WA, puts it rather bluntly.
Nobody's provided any physical evidence. We haven't found any animals that have been killed on the roads. Nobody's shot any. We haven't found any skeletal remains at any locations. And even something as simple and obvious as dung, nobody's been able to provide that for us either.
There are four main theories that try to explain the big cat sightings. The first is that a travelling circus crashed, allowing a breeding pair of big cats to escape.
I've looked into this over 10 years and I cannot find one scrap of evidence to suggest that a circus has crashed anywhere in Australia at any period in time over the last 120 years with any big cats escaping. But of course conspiracy theorists say, well, if a circus did crash and a few of their big cats got away, they might not want to tell the authorities. So the theory is still alive, but I think, again, that's a fairly dubious one.
Another popular theory, but one that has been emphatically discredited, is that the big cats are a descendant of the marsupial lion that became extinct about 50,000 years ago. The third theory involves an always popular scapegoat, the US military.
It dates back from, World War II, when in 1942 there were rumours that 4 cougars were thrown overboard off a ship off the West Australian coast and swam ashore, about 3 kilometres ashore, never to be seen again. Maybe they turned into the big cats. But there's no concrete evidence that those events did occur. It's only anecdotal evidence, so I'm not too sure about that one, but it sounds good.
So that leaves one final theory that both Peter and Tim believe has the most credibility. The big cats are in fact either large feral cats or feral dogs, and some may have a disease called mange mite.
Which basically means they lose most of the fur over parts or all of their body, and it can give them appearance of having stripes or patches or being very short-haired, and it can quite actually change the appearance so much so that you really have to stop and think of what that is, and people just get a little bit confused about what it is they're looking at.
So what's the verdict?
I think in 99.9% of cases they are probably not a big cat. We just need that one piece of evidence, some DNA proof or the capture of an animal to prove that it does exist. So I think there's 0.1% chance that they really are out there, and that's about it.
You can never claim in the definitive that something doesn't exist, so saying a definitive no is probably going to get you into trouble at some point in the future.
So that's